Our next guest is making his first appearance on the orange carpet. Please welcome real estate expert Robert Colello of Robert Colello and Associates at Keller Williams Realty.
He's here. What's up, Roberto?
Hey, thanks for having me, Derek.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Great to see you here. Great topic, too, because in my opinion, it's been a seller's market for years now.
Absolutely.
But it seems like it's getting more and more of a seller's market where a lot of people thought that it would become a buyer's market about 2016. What's your opinion?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it is getting to be more and more of a seller's market. We're in an election year. The feds have kept the rates down, which they said they're going to raise them, and now they're still down, and the inventory is super low. So it's a great opportunity for sellers to sell and buyers to buy.
So from the sell side, because right now there are a lot of people who would sell, but there's a couple reasons that they're not. Number one reason that they're not is because they can't find something comparable to move into, right? Because the inventory is so low. And the other reason is that a lot of people out there, believe it or not, are still not quite to break even. There's a lot of people who've been holding on, waiting to get to that break even, but they bought at the worst time. They bought at the peak of the market. They held on, and they're still just waiting to get to that point where they can sell and break even. That's what I'm hearing, whom I'm talking to. At what point does that bubble sort of burst? When is that going to break and those sellers going to come into the market and give us the inventory we've been waiting for?
Well, my opinion is that's going to happen within the next 6 months. I think right by the time we get in the summer market, when it gets really hot, that's going to happen. Okay. Maybe even now. Maybe they don't have proper data to realize where their value is. A lot of times they look at Zillow and the Z estimate, and it's not exactly right. Yeah. So they think they're still underwater, and they're underwater. But really, if they looked at the true value of their last 5 comparables in the area, they realize, oh, I could sell now. And if they knew that, they would take advantage of the market. So to answer your question, I feel like between now, late spring, early summer, those sellers should be out of trouble, the ones that bought in 06, 07.
Okay, well, there's 2 huge pieces of information you gave us there. Number one was basically if you're looking at the Zestimate or some online valuation, and by the way, we saw this happen in the casting for the reality show recently where someone thought their home was worth $300,000. We had it appraised for $360,000.
Absolutely.
Huge difference. And they were looking at the Zestimate.
Absolutely.
So for people out there who are waiting to get to that point to sell, you might want to actually check it out and see what the real value of the home is. Maybe it's higher than you think it is or what you're finding online. And then, the other piece is, if that's going to happen in the next 6 months, if you're right about the summer being the time when people finally say, okay, let's get all this stuff sold, wouldn't now be a better time to be a seller, in other words, to list a property than to wait until that inventory comes out?
Absolutely. Market data shows us every year, that especially for the last 3 years, between the month of March and May, the inventory virtually almost doubles by the time it gets to June. Okay?
Wow.
So like say, for example, the I-15 corridor, last year, 447 properties on the market in the month of April. By the time June and July hit, it was over 980 homes around the market. So yes, right now is the best time to sell. You get in the early spring, late spring market, that's the best opportunity to sell your home.
What about sellers who have a contingent sales situation in this particular market, since it is a little harder on the buy side? Any advice for those people who need to sell this home first before they can buy this home second?
Oh, absolutely. 70% of my sellers every year that sell need to buy. So that means 70% of them can't buy until they sell their home. Now, a contingent offer, as we all know, is the weakest possible offer you can give another seller, especially in a hot market like this. They have 5 offers on the property, maybe even 15 offers on the property. What are the chances they're going to take someone's offer that needs to sell their home first? So my suggestion is always the same, whether it's a good market or it's a bad market. We sell your home first, we put it in escrow, we negotiate a rent back situation so you're able to close escrow, put the cash in your pocket, stay in your home up to 90 days. Usually it's 30 or 60 days after the close of escrow, sometimes even up to 90 days. I negotiate that with a 30-day notice, you can leave. So if we find a home right away, you don't have to stay there the whole term of the lease. But if we don't find a home right away, you're not feeling like, oh my gosh, I sold my home, now I got to find something, what am I going to do? I'm going to stay in the Holiday Inn.
Perfect advice, because you get to, if you're doing a contingent offer, you're essentially starting the negotiations off on the wrong foot.
Totally.
You're starting the negotiations off by saying, I need a favor.
Yeah.
Before I submit my offer. And that's just not a good way to go about it. Great stuff, by the way, Robert. So what about the $1 million+ marketplace? That always seems to be a different market in San Diego.
Yeah.
The $1 million+ marketplace is usually different than the sub-million marketplace, and especially the sub-600 marketplace. What are you seeing right now for the $1 million+ homes?
We're seeing in the million, if you're under $1 million, very fluid, very fast, right? Now, if you're above $1 million in this marketplace, we're seeing that homes are selling in those hot pockets, you know, areas in La Jolla, maybe in Del Sur, maybe in the coast property, Solana Beach. They're selling really hot, you know. One of the properties that I just listed in Stonebridge, that property is a very hot property. You know, it's almost 5,000 square foot home, 5 bedrooms, 5 baths. We have it on the market for $1.39 million to $1.465 million. It's sitting on the bluff of a canyon, fully redone backyard, gorgeous amenities with a casita. That property will sell fast. It's a great value.
Yeah.
But you get some people in that category where they just overprice their properties, and you know what happens? It sits like any other property. So you got to be very aggressive. You have to have a good agent with good negotiating skills to make sure, first of all, they negotiate with you up front what reality is, and that way we can go out there and get you the most money for your property.
And I also think it's a good idea if you're in that $1 million+ marketplace, because the days on market is a little bit longer, which it should be. There's less people who can buy those homes. So getting ahead of the hot season a little bit, not necessarily trying to put it out there, because someone who's buying a $1.5 million house or $1.4 million house is usually making a plan. That's a multi-month plan. So if they see the house, they go and look at it, you know, they're not buying it, you know, sight unseen type thing. There's a plan in place. So if you get out there on the market a little bit ahead of the hot season, that gives you that little extra time that you need, because someone might buy it in June, but they might start negotiating with you right now.
And you brought a great point up, Derek. One of the things that buyers in that price range do, when a buyer that's underneath that price range is looking for maybe $400,000 or $500,000 home, they're looking like a specific neighborhood or an area. A buyer that's over $1 million plus, $1.5 million, $2 million, they're looking at areas. You know, for example, I have a listing coming up in Santa Luz, $3 million home. They're going to be looking in Santa Luz. They're also going to be looking to see what they can get in the ranch. They're going to be seeing what they can get in Carmel Valley. They're going to be comparing, you know, what can I get in Del Mar for this amount of money? So you made a great point. They are doing their research. Now, research also shows that the hottest time that those homes sell most of the time, and year after year, is between April and June. Most people think to put their home on the market in June. They actually sell in many of those communities faster and quicker and for top dollar during those months.
Robert, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you being here. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.